Live.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Thumb to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema Thumb Shem Yahshua to all the sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command General YAHANNA. Since 1969, we've been teaching that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native men, women, and children are God's chosen people according to the Bible. This is the scripture breakdown class. I am priest and officer Ibadayah. General Mahayaman will be here to answer any and all questions, and he'll be able to answer with the scriptures. Mathumya, if you may, can you give me Judith chapter 5 and verse 20? We are in the feast of Hanukkah, the feast of dedication. It started December 25th. That's when we had our service, and it lasted for 8 days. It tells about our history and how Mattathias and Judas Maccabeus held strong for the law, held strong for these scriptures, held strong for our heritage and for our law, statutes, and commandments, and serve the Most High God. And we gotta be the same way in these last days of time. We can't turn away from our power, turn away from our faith. We can't give up hope. We can't get weak. We have to stand strong and do what we need to do to make it on those chariots, because we are in the last days of time. We are. Time is short. Christ is coming back and coming back soon. Now, no man knows the time nor the hour, but we could tell by the wars and rumors of wars, the famines, the earthquakes in diverse places, the pestilences, COVID-19. There's a lot of things happening on this earth that we should be aware of to keep our minds rooted in this truth. Read B.O.W. Judith chapter 5 and verse 20.
It's the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor.
Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor. This is a heathen giving counsel to a heathen ruler. Read.
If there be any error against this people,
talking about us, the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites. Yes, Hebrew is our language. Israelite is our nationality. Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are just bywords, and their names just take us away from our heritage. Our real name is YAHUSHUA, Prince of the power if you're a male, Princess of the power if you're a female. Read again from the top of Gajah.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, if there be any error, any sin, any iniquity, any transgression of the law, the Most High, be ye therefore perfect, as our Father is perfect. We gotta be perfect as the Most High. We gotta be perfect as Christ. And perfection is just keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. From the time of Adam all the way up to the time of Christ, we wasn't keeping the law. We always had to do a sacrifice of some kind. But once Christ died on that cross, he gave us the opportunity to be perfect, because he was perfect. Now we can be perfect as well, and it's just keeping the laws of God. Do not steal. Do not murder. Pay your tithes to Command General YAHANNA. Things such as those. Read.
And they sin against their God.
And they sin against their power. So we sin against the Most High God. If we hate our brother in our heart for no reason, if we commit adultery, fornication, sell drugs, if we be in the alternative lifestyle community. Read.
Consider that this shall be their ruin.
Consider that this shall be their ruin. This will be our ruin. This will be our ruin. Meaning our power, we won't have our power. The Most High God won't defend us. He won't have our back. He won't protect us. We'll be as sheep without a shepherd. Read.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them. They'll be able to scatter us. They'll be able to overcome us. They'll be able to spoil us. They'll be able to take what they can from us. They'll be able to enslave us. Because the Lord's not playing. When we obey Him, we get blessed. When we disobey Him, we get cursed. And one of those curses was Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Bondmen and bondwomen going to Egypt again with ships, the transatlantic slave trade. Read.
Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation.
But here's the other side of the coin. There's always two sides of the coin. When we obey the Lord, when we disobey the Lord, they can overtake us. But if we obey the Lord, read.
Let my Lord now pass by.
They don't want no smoke. They don't want no problems with us. They just want to. He's just telling them. He's just telling the heathen ruler to just pass by. Don't even mess with those Israelites. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Read.
Lest their Lord defend them.
Lest their Lord defend them. See? The Most High will defend us. And we're the only nation on the earth that has a living power. But the other nations, their gods are idols. Those gods are not real. They're the figment of the man's imagination. They can't speak. They can't talk, walk, see, hear. They can't help you nor hurt you. So all they have they have nothing really. Because without the Most High, you really don't have anything. Read.
From God and slacking, and their God be with and slacking, and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
And their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. They'll be made an example of, just like the Egyptians. Everybody heard about what the Most High did to the Egyptians, and then with Joshua's conquest of those African nations. So let's drop that. Let's get Deuteronomy 27:1, because we have to obey the Most High. It comes down to obeying the Most High and obeying the men that He put in charge. That's right now. That's Commander General YAHANNA, generals, captains, officers. We have a priesthood on this earth to lead this nation out, to lead this nation back to the Most High. We have classes every day of the week, free, so we can get up out of our sin and our iniquity, so we can change our minds daily, renew our minds daily, with the word, with the word of God. Read, Brother Kushal.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people.
Moses with the elders of Israel. See, that's Moses. He was in charge. Most High always has a man in charge of the congregation of Israel, not a woman, a man, because the Most High is a man of war. The Most High had Moses, a Haitian, in charge, a Levite, so-called Haitian. He was in charge. And read with the elders of Israel. So Moses put men in charge underneath him to help ease the burden and rule the people. Read.
Commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day.
Keep all the commandments which I command you this day. Since Moses, since Adam, we always had to keep the commandments. Eat from the tree of life, fruit from the tree of life. We have to keep the commandments. Keep the commandments. Read.
Come. And it shall be on the day.
Oh, drop down to 28 and 1, Book of Show.
Verse 20.
28 and 1. 28 and 1, Book of Show. We got to keep the commandments. We have to. We got to keep the commandments. That's what it all boils down to. There's no way to get around it. And if we do, we'll find out what's going to behold us. Read.
Come. Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
And it shall come to pass. And it shall come to pass. Meaning this is going to happen. If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice. Go ahead. If thou shalt hearken diligently.
Come. Unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If thou shalt hearken diligently, if we listen continuously unto the Most High God, unto his law, statutes, and commandments, read.
To observe and to do.
To observe and to do. So we got to first learn them, first learn his laws, his statutes, his commandments, and then we have to apply what we have learned. We can't just learn them and then not do it, and then we just be like, okay, I know it, but now I'm going to do what I want. No, you actually have to apply it, you have to do it. Read.
Come. All his commandments, which I command thee this day.
It didn't say some. It didn't say the ones I like to do. It didn't say a few. What did it say?
All his commandments.
All his commandments. So all the Most High God's commandments. Read.
Which I command thee this day.
Which he command us this day. Read.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
And the Lord will set us on high. It's not like we don't get nothing in return. It's a covenant. It's an agreement. We obey the Most High God and do everything He says. He's going to put us on high. Breathe.
Above all nations of the earth.
Above all nations of the earth. So we gonna be on top. We gonna be ruling. We gonna dictate what goes on the earth, because we're gonna be above everybody. They're gonna be following our lead. They're gonna be doing what we say. But there's another side to it. There's another side to it. And that same covenant, same agreement, if we disobey the Lord, He has something for us. Read verse 15.
Come God. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
Now, it says, but. This is the other side of the coin. But, nevertheless, but it shall come to pass. Meaning, now this is going to happen. Read.
Come. If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. If we refuse to obey the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments, if we refuse to obey his voice, his priests and prophets, his laws, his statutes, his commandments, read.
Come. To observe, to do all his commandments.
To observe, to do all his commandments. And we refuse to learn. We refuse to apply what we have learned. Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
All these what?
Curses.
All these what?
Curses.
All these curses or punishments. That's what a curse is. It's a punishment. All these punishments, curses, read.
Shall come upon thee.
Will come upon us. And read.
And overtake thee.
And overtake thee. So not only will they come upon us, they're going to overtake us. So wherever we try to flee to, wherever we try to go, it's going to follow us. Whether we're in the city, whether we're in the suburbs, whether we're in America, whether we try to flee to Africa or any other country, it's going to follow us. We're hated here on this. We're hated in this society, in this world. Esau is in rulership. Is in rulership. Esau, the oppressor, is in rulership, and he made sure that we are hated here in this land called America. So drop that. Let's get Deuteronomy 7:6 up for sure. And we need to turn back to our power. We need to turn back to our power, to the Most High God. We need to think. We really need to think about everything that we have done to this point. Like, without the Most High, what do we really have on this earth? We don't really have anything, because our oppressor is we're in captivity. This is the land of our captivity. We're slaves. We're slaves. We just because the chains came off, the physical chains, the chains in our minds are still there. We don't have our identity. As a nation of people, we don't have a land. We don't have a land. Our land is taken away from us. Amalek, so-called Jewish man, has been occupying our land. We don't have a land. They have taken away. They have whitewashed our power, making us believe that that Christ is white, that the Most High is white, when he's in fact a black man in spirit. When Christ is actually a black man, that the angels are black men. He have taken our history from us. The Bible is a black man's book. It's written in slang, taking our language from us. Taking our language. Hebrew. So without the Lord, we'll just be slaves until the Lord sees fit to take us up out of it. And the only way he's going to take us up out of it is if we obey him. So we got to start doing our part to obey him. Read Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. One more
Come. Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
For thou art an holy people. Holy means separate, set apart. We're holy, set apart, different. For thou art a holy people. You mind picking it up, Karam? There's a mic right there if you need to. So, for for thou art an holy people. Alawat Panya, Barak, Yahawah, Shem Yahushua, Barakatah.
Get it up, get it on. I appreciate it, Warrior.
We wrap it out. Of course, I'll answer your questions, solve all of your problems. All right, we'll get it on tonight. If you have any questions, I'll ask them. I know there's a so-called holiday coming up. We're also in what day of Hanukkah are we in right now? 4 or 5? You can look it up. We're in the middle of Hanukkah right now. Also, I believe the so-called holiday of New Year's Eve is coming up. You want to be ready and armed to battle about New Year's Eve. And you, of course, want to promote the Most High's Day of Remembrance, which is Hanukkah. And we're in the middle of it right now. All right. If you have any questions, I will, of course, will answer them for you.
Any questions online, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Shalom. This is from young man Jermaine.
All right, boy.
Shalom. Yahavashim Yahushuah, Dallas, Texas. Slaki, can you break down Jonah chapter 1 and verse 7? What are lots?
Jonah 1 and 7, of course, no problem. All right. Side to the side right here. Jonah 1 and 7. I'm ready whenever you are. Give him 1 second, young brother James. All right. I'm sorry. You want to read it? Please. You got it up.
Jonah chapter 1, verse 7. And they said, everyone to his fellow, come and let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is come upon us.
I understand this question now. Casting lots, you can also look this up in your Zondervan Bible dictionary. Lots are dice. That's what we call today dice. Dice. Casting the die, or the term, it's an old Shakespearean term. The term is the die is cast. That's a term from Shakespeare. The die is cast means that it's too late. The decision has already been made. The die is cast. Cast means to throw. A die is one of the pair of dice. Lots are 2 dice. Everyone understand? A lot is 1 dice. That's what lots are, right? Dice. All right, good to go. In this context, there's another lot that's speaking about a plot of land, which is a different lot. But casting lots is speaking about throwing dice to make a decision. The Urim and the Thummim that Moses carried inside of his coat were 2 dice. And if he did not know whether or not to make a decision, if it was an either or, he wanted the Most High to decide. And he would take out Urim and the Thummim and roll them. And if the number fell on go to war, he would go to war. If the number fell on don't go to war, he would, for example. All right. And it was how Moses would make decisions from his Urim and his Thummim, which were 2 dice, which is what lots are. All right. Gracias. Anything else? Mm-hmm.
This is from SICARII, I.U.C.K, Shalom Alawat.
Shalom.
If you see fit, may I get a general breakdown of 2 Samuel chapter 22, verses 2 through 3?
Of course, no problem, Mark. Whenever you're ready.
Can I use this to prove Christ in the Old Testament, sir?
Please, to you, brother, for your loyalty and your service. Please continue. Please read the question for the brother.
This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 22 and verse 2. And he said, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. Verse 3. The God is my rock, and in him will I trust. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation.
I'm missing the part about Christ. I don't hear it. But of course, there are many precepts to prove that Jesus Christ is spoken about in the Old Testament. This is not jogging my memory to be one unless there's more to read. Is there more?
A little bit more, sir.
Go ahead.
My high tower and my refuge, my Savior, that thou savest me from violence.
I'm assuming he's referring to the rock part. This would not be one that I would use to prove that Jesus Christ is spoken of in the Old Testament. There are very clear and direct precepts proving that Jesus Christ is spoken of in the New Testament. I would not say that this is one of them. Also, I can make sure, can you hear me well? The microphone is way over here. Just let me know if you can hear me well. It doesn't seem close enough to hear, all right? Anyway, you don't like, can we put it right here? Is that a problem? You might as well, otherwise it's all the way over there, all right? The brother will straighten it out. No, you got it out. You can hold on to the microphone until they're done. Everyone just stand by, okay? They'll move the microphone. I appreciate it. There you go, like right, point it, There you go. Okay, the brother said the sound is perfect. Well, still do it anyway. Let me read these Los Anuncios. Oh, I'm thinking about it. Stand by. Nosotros somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Comenzamos en 1 Oeste Calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York, desde 1969, debajo del mando General YAHANNA. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres hombre hispano, negro o indio nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido de Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa, pero su iglesia es culpable de todo lo que nos están pasando. All right, I'm ready to rock. ¿Cómo te puedo ayudar? How may I help you? You good to go? Give me a hold it for you. Is it jammed up? All right. There you go. Lord, a little more. There you go. Right there. Germany. I don't think it's on there. Yeah, that's fine. Everyone just stand by, right? Maybe someone else will give me the questions. Is that possible? Any other questions? Okay, let me get in the room right now. You got it, brother.
May I get a breakdown? May I get a breakdown on Proverbs chapter 1, verse 12, when it says, "Let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole." What is that speaking of?
Okay, go ahead and read, please.
It's the book of Proverbs chapter 1, verse 12. Let us swallow up them. It's not here. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole as those that.
Okay, read one verse above it, please.
Verse 11. If they say, "Come, with us. Let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause.
If I could, this proverb is about being coerced into committing a violent crime against another brother or sister, right? It's giving you a warning against someone who coerces you into getting involved in violent crime. You brothers, I'm sure already know this, but this is how most terrible lives are lost. Most brothers spend the rest of their lives in jail. In America, brother, so many people are you're going to have 5 people that are going to get 25 years taken out of their life because all of them were in one car to go do one shooting. Even though only one man shot the gun, but everyone in the vehicle gets charged with murder. That's the law in America. And there are so many people in jail for a murder rap simply because they were coerced, they were talked into getting in the car. Everyone understands. Once you're in the car, you did the murder. You did the robbery according to the law of the land. So this precepts like this protect you against doing something evil because you got joined into it by a friend, by someone who you trust. But this person actually is not your friend. He's an accomplice. So many of us don't know the difference. Don't find out the hard way. All right? Read it from the top.
Verse 11. If they say, come with us, let us wait. It's like, let us lay wait for blood.
If they say, come with us, let us lay in wait for blood. Laying in wait for blood is going somewhere and you're waiting for this person to get there so you can kill them, so you can unalive them. That's laying in wait for blood. Go ahead.
Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause.
Let us lurk privily. Privily is privately, secretly. Lurking is when you sneak around and do it. So you're sneaking around somewhere in the darkness, in the quiet, waiting for who? The innocent man. Waiting for some brother that's just coming home from work, some sister that just got paid, some old lady who just cashed her welfare check, someone just driving home who has done no wrong to you, who has not harmed you in any way. Don't let them talk you into doing this. That's the point. Continue.
Verse 12. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave.
That's the plan from you and your accomplice. Your accomplice is saying, let us swallow them up alive. Keep going.
And whole.
And whole, meaning we're going to wait for this person to get here. We're going to put masks on. We're going to put those masks everybody in Philly loves. What are they called? Shiesty masks. You get your shiesty Philly mask out. You'll wait in some old car that somebody put together. And you'll wait and you'll wait and you wait. Why? So you can kill them. Let us swallow them up whole, like in a grave, which it means they're plotting to kill the person. This is a murder plot. You understand? Anything else? Please, no sweat. Go ahead.
This is from YAHUAH. Shalom, YAHUAH,
the water warrior. What can I do for you?
I was explaining to my brother who is a naturalist, which I don't know what that means.
Well, join me in that, because I also do not know what a naturalist is. Alexa, what is a naturalist?
A naturalist is someone who studies natural history, especially a zoologist or botanist. They are experts in their field and study.
Alexa, stop. I'm sure this brother is a PhD in botany or zoology. Let's continue.
May I have a breakdown of 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verses 38 through 40. Okay,
but what does this have to do with naturalism or being a naturalist? I guess I'll find out when we read it. You can go ahead and read it now.
Okay. This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verses 38. And so much that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her.
I'm not sure about the naturalism part, but I'll just explain what this precept is talking about. Go 2 verses above it.
Okay. Verse 36. For it was a place to lie.
Are we in Kings? Where are we at?
Oh, First Maccabee.
First Maccabee. All right. This is speaking about the siege of Jerusalem. This is speaking about when the Greeks came in and they conquered Jerusalem. All right. We're celebrating tonight the overthrow of the Greeks when we took back our land and specifically took back our temple. And we rededicated the temple. We relit all the candles. We relit all of them because the temple now was open at night again. Before, the temple was closed at night because no one went into the temple because they were sacrificing pigs on the altar of God. So people stopped going to the temple. So there was no reason to light any candles because no one was in there. But then when the altars were thrown down that had pig blood on them, and they went and got new altars, then they lit the candles again because now everyone was coming into the temple to hear about the prayers and to perform the services of God. So they turned the lights back on in the temple. And we commemorate them turning the lights back on in the temple by us lighting candles for Hanukkah. That's the point of Hanukkah. Everyone understands. Please, go ahead.
Is this saying the Feast of Dedication that Christ celebrated when he walked in the Feast of the in St. John's 10 and 22?
Yes, this is the Feast of Dedication. Exactly. The Feast of Dedication is Hanukkah. That's what it means. That's what this is. All right. So now we're reading now about when the Greeks came in and they took our land, controlled our land, occupied it the way an opposing military comes in and occupies a foreign land. All right. Now read it from the top.
Okay. This is the book of First Maccabees, 1 verse 36. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary.
You get that right. It was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, meaning that these Greeks would come and they would wait on some hilltop or some position that was tactically perfect to attack the sanctuary, to attack our temple. Keep going.
And an evil adversary to Israel.
And they were an evil adversary to Israel. Keep going.
Verse 37. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary.
That's what our enemies did, the Greeks at this time. They shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary. They held a position that was perfect to attack the synagogue. To attack the temple. Then they would kill anyone that tried to go into the temple. Kill anyone that tried to go and obey the customs of their people and the laws of their God. Keep going.
And defiled it.
And they defiled the temple or defiled the sanctuary. Go ahead, meaning they made it filthy. They made it an unclean place. Continue.
Verse 38. And so much that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them.
So much so that the people fled out of Jerusalem. You see the same thing happening today. If there's a war in a country or if some country comes in and invades another country, what happens? Refugees. They leave the country of their birth, and now they become refugees somewhere else. That's what happened. That's what happened with Jesus Christ when Herod was trying to kill him. And him and his family fled into Africa. Now they're refugees in Africa. It happened at the end of the siege of Jerusalem, when the tribe of Judah, the bulk of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin and Levi fled into Africa again. They stayed there so long until finally there was, because of so many wars that the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi fought with the actual Africans. Finally, those Africans got together with our enemies, the so-called white man in Europe and in Spain and in Portugal, and they came together to enslave us all around the world. And that is the history of the transatlantic slave trade. We were refugees in Africa. Well, at this time now, even though it's our homeland, we have to leave our homeland. We can't stay there anymore because the heathens are killing us in our own land. The other nations are killing us in our own land. Continue.
Whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers.
So the city was made an a habitation of strangers. The word habitation means habitat, which means a place where you live. The Israelites left the city And now who lives there? The Greeks live there now. Now Alexander, the so-called great, lives there. And Ptolemy lives there. And Antiochus and all of the generals that work with the Greeks. What happened during the time of Jesus Christ? A woman came up to get her child healed. The woman was a Syrophoenician by birth. Did it say birth? The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation. She was a Greek woman, and she lived in Syrophoenicia, which was a land in Israel. In Israel, a place that started from people from Phoenicia who came over to Israel and established a new country, and they called it Syrophoenicia. The same way there's a place in England called York, and they left York and came to America and established New York. They left Jersey, which is a place in England, and they came over here and set up a place called New Jersey. Well, this is Syrophoenicia, was a new country based on Phoenicia in Greece. Who lived there? Greeks lived there. Greeks lived there, lived in that land. This is when it happened. The bloodshed was so terrible, the Israelites left and the Greeks moved in. Continue.
Okay. And became strange to those that were born in her.
So now the land of Israel becomes strange to the people who were born there. You don't even recognize the place anymore. You come back later on business, you see your neighborhood, your land, and you go, what is this? I see that when I go to Harlem. Every time I go to Harlem, I go, what happened here, man? What is going on in Harlem? What is going on in Brooklyn is insane. Brooklyn is a totally different place from 20 years ago. Totally different place. And you're going to see this happen everywhere. I believe there's a name for it. It's called gentrification. That's what happened to Israel. Israel was gentrified. And just like in every instance of gentrification, it starts with bloodshed. Bloodshed is how all gentrification starts. Mexico is going through it right now. In the end of this, Mexico will be a paradise for white people. Haiti is going through it right now. At the end of this, Haiti will be a paradise for white people. Well, that happened in the nation of Israel. We left our homeland because they would kill us. The authorities, the military, the police would kill us the minute we tried to go into our temple. So we left, and who moved in? White people moved in. The Greeks moved in. It was so terrible, you couldn't even recognize the place if you were born there. You went to Israel, man, it was like you were in where? It was like you were where? Whoever answers this question right, I will be absolutely impressed. You go to Israel, you go to Judea, and it was like you were where? Let someone online try to answer. I will know you pay attention if you answer this correctly. You will not answer this correctly. Whenever you're ready. Read the precept one more time.
Okay, we got answers, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Mashamar, Ayash, Harlem.
No. You go into Israel, it wouldn't be like Harlem when you went into Israel. You go into Israel, and instead of being in Israel, now it was like you were in where? Let's hear them.
Said, living in hell.
No, yes, that's right. But that doesn't prove you've been paying attention today. Do you want to cut people, young brothers? Do you want to destroy your enemies in a battle? Well, you have to listen. So many of you think winning a battle is about talking. You're incorrect. That's what women think. Women think just flooding the room with words is winning a battle. It is not. Winning a battle is about listening first. In this instance, you're battling me. You have to give me the right answer, or else I will cut you at the end. Or you'll cut me at the end by remembering what happened today in class. You will go, the Israelites left Israel, and then strangers moved in. So much so that the place was strange to people who were born there. Going into Israel after the Greeks moved in, it wasn't like Israel anymore. It was like Phoenicia. Now I just cut you. That feeling is you being cut. It was like Phoenicia. It was like Syro-Phoenicia, which is what I just said. Now let's go to Mark the 7th chapter and read it. This is what happened. Mark the 7th chapter. You know what I want, right? 21, 24, something like that. Now I see why that mic was over there. This mic is in the way of my drinking arm. It's lucky. That's my fault, I You know better than me. I should have left the damn thing over there. It's blocking my scotch arm. I can barely. I'll have to give up drinking. If this continues. It's a lucky. My apologies, Akim. Go ahead.
This is the book of
No, leave. I deserve it. I deserve it right where it is. Let me learn my lesson. Go ahead, Will. Oh, I do want to read. I appreciate that. Gracias. Go ahead.
this is the book of Mark 7, verse 26. The woman was a Greek.
The woman, what? Wait, read a verse above it.
Verse 25. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him.
There was a woman who came over to Christ while he was teaching, and she heard that he could cast the demons out of people. He could heal the sick. He could erase the mental demons that people had that had destroyed their lives. And she heard about him, and she came before Christ. Go ahead.
And came and fell at his feet.
She fell at the feet of Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
Verse 26. The woman was a Greek.
The woman was a Greek. Go ahead.
A Syro-Phoenician by nation.
A Syro-Phoenician by nation. She wasn't from Phoenicia, which is in Greek, in the Aegean Sea. It's an island in the Aegean Sea. She was from Israel. Syro-Phoenicia. That was the new town, the nation that had propped up after we left. And now the Greeks were living in our land. So if you were from Israel, you come back over there, it was like you were in Phoenicia. It was like you were in some Greek island somewhere, when really you're in the place of your birth, the place of your nativity, your neighborhood, your town, but you don't recognize it anymore. I'm sure that's happening in Jamaica over there. Am I wrong, Warrior? Jeez, I can imagine. You go over to Jamaica, brother, those places over there in Jamaica, you can't even swim in the ocean. You can't even go on the beaches. You can't fish. But who is there having a wonderful time? White people. You go into Jamaica and you won't recognize the place. Anything else?
And she besought him.
That's enough on that. You get that. All right. Was that it to the brother's question?
That was most of it,
All right. Anything else?
We have YAHUAH, I.S.U.P.K, Louisiana. Shalom, Lord, and Christ out of one.
Please.
If I could, with your grace, get a breakdown of Obadiah 1 and 1 to understand the ambassador.
Absolutely, Warrior. Please read it for him.
This is the book of Obadiah, 1 verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord. And an ambassador is sent among the heathen.
Keep going.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
This is speaking about, this is a prophecy, a future prophecy that went on to happen, and it's happening more and more every day. There was an ambassador that went before the United Nations. His name was Gollum Nassim. And he went before the United Nations and told them that the Israelites were not the people living in that land today. They weren't the true people, that the true people were cast out long ago. The knowledge that he exposed to the average, common, everyday Jewish person made them want to go to war more, to keep that land from the original inhabitants ever coming back. From then on, brother, our oppressor who lives in the land of Israel, they began to be so bloodthirsty about keeping their land and making sure that no one else ever gets it. It also happened, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, when Premier Vladimir Putin came out and told everyone that the original people of Israel were black people. And he began to show the Russian icons of Mary and Jesus to show that the Jews are black. That's the ambassador, meaning a representative from white people who shows up and tells them that the people who are living here now are not the true people of the land. And brother, each time that happens, our adversary gets more vicious. He gets more determined to keep that land for himself. It's just like in the book of Exodus, when the Most High hardened the heart of Pharaoh. Hardened his heart. The more that Pharaoh realized that Moses had a true God, and his God wanted him to let those people go. His God wanted him to allow those people to serve their God in the wilderness. Pharaoh's heart grew colder and more stringent to not let them go. That is what happened. That's what this ambassador caused to happen. This ambassador, you can take this back to Ghulam Nasser, I believe his name is. You can take it straight up to Vladimir Putin. You can take it to Arthur Koestler. Arthur Koestler, who was another so-called Jewish man who wrote the book, The 13th Tribe, letting everyone know that the only way that white people could be Jews is if there is a 13th tribe, because all of the 12 tribes are black. That's what Arthur Koestler said and wrote the book, The 13th Tribe. That's the ambassador. You get my point? The term ambassador is spiritual, for he is part of this kingdom. He's part of the white kingdom or the Edomite kingdom. He represents them, but he goes off and tells the world something against them. He's their ambassador. And he's telling the world that the Jews are black. He's telling the world that the people that live there now are not the people of Moses, are not the people of David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And our oppressor gets more angry about it. That's the ambassador warrior. All right. If you want to read more, you can. Go ahead.
That was basically it, sir.
All right. Next.
This is from Grafted and High. Shalom. May I get an understanding on Romans 10:4, YAHUSHA being the end of the world?
No problem. Go ahead and read it for him. All right.
This is the book of Romans, 10 and verse 4. For Christ is the end of the law. For righteousness.
That's the part you need. That's the part that grafted in. I'm sure grafted in when whoever broke this down to you, some Christian or something. If you're a Christian, you've been hearing this. Whenever you go to your church and you try to tell them that the Israelites are the chosen people of God and that Jesus Christ only died for blacks and Hispanics. Jesus Christ only died for the Israelites. Many of them coincidentally will say that the white man was grafted in, that the other nations were grafted in. They were not grafted in at all. There is no salvation in the Bible for any race other than Israel. It does not exist. It is not what the story is about. You understand? There is salvation in America for white people and what's the Vivek Vakaswamy, the one with the dot? Vivek. East Indians. East Indians, look at Vivek. He now is going to run the country. He's going to run the world. There's salvation for South African white people. Elon Musk is going to run the world, and they've never been elected at all. But they're going to run the planet Earth. And they're two immigrants from other countries who were able to come to America and control America. There's salvation for immigrants in America as long as you're not Hispanic, as long as you're not West Indian. The salvation in the Bible is for blacks and Hispanics, and it is for no one else. Everyone understands. All right? So now I'll break this down for you, okay? Read 2 verses above it, and I'll explain.
This is the book of Romans, the 10th and verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge.
I bear them record. They have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. That's important to this breakdown. Meaning you love God, you're excited about God, but you know nothing about God. You don't know God at all. You're just very excited about him. You know, you're very zealous about him, but your zeal is not based in fact. Continue.
Verse 3. For they being ignorant of of God's righteousness.
For they being ignorant of God's righteousness, go ahead.
And going about to establish their own righteousness.
And going about to establish their own righteousness. Do you see that grafted in? You see, you don't know God's righteousness, so you decide what's righteous. And you know what you think is righteous? The thing that blacks and Hispanics have been fighting for since slavery: equality. Equality is like the white whale of being black. It's something you want in everything in life. Could I move into that white neighborhood? Could I be with white women? Could I have that job that only white people usually get? You want equality. It's all you're marching for it every day. You're voting for it. You're getting beat up at picket lines and German shepherds biting your children, all for the purpose and the goal of equality. That's your righteousness. That's what you think is good. You're ignorant of God's righteousness, however. That is not how God thinks. And when you read the Bible, you impose your own sensibility of right and wrong on God. And you're ignorant of God's righteousness. You being ignorant of God's righteousness and setting about to seek your own righteousness, which is equality, democracy. Keep going.
Have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God.
You see, that's the problem with trying to decide what you think is right and wrong. You don't submit to what God said is right and wrong. God said equality is wrong. It's wrong in the Bible to be equal. It's wrong. Nothing in the Bible is equal. There is no equality in the Bible at all. Equality is a dream that you were fed by Thomas Jefferson. Oh, speaking of Thomas Jefferson wrote these beautiful and eloquent words. And I believe that all men are created equal. That's beautiful. It sounds like the slaves are equal. It sounds like the Indians are equal. Was Thomas Jefferson referring to all people when he said all people? No. Well, why do you think God is referring to all people in the Bible? Why do you think that precepts that sound like the other nations can be saved, why do you think you're right about that when you were wrong about the goddamn Declaration of Independence? You thought that applied to you. It didn't. All men in the Declaration of Independence did not apply to the slaves, even though it literally said all men. You see, you need context, young brothers. Context. All men did not mean slaves. All men did not mean women. All men did not mean the Indians who they were killing at the time. All men meant all white men, obviously. That's who wrote it. That's what the story is about in the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence is not about the slaves and the Indians. They're not part of that story. So all men is applying to the people who the story is about, white people, white men. Well, the Bible is about black and Hispanic people. That's who the story is about. Everyone gets it. You ignore God's righteousness, seeking your own righteousness, and in doing so, you fail at achieving God's righteousness. Keep going.
Of God, verse 4. For Christ is the end of the law.
For Christ is what?
The end of the law.
Now, I know what you think about the end of the law is. That's your righteousness, young brothers. I know you understand grafted in. You don't want to put your righteousness on for Christ is the end of the law, because if I put my own righteousness on Christ is the end of the law, what will I think it means? Ask grafted in the question. Grafted in, what will I think Christ is the end of the law means if I put my own sensibility of what is right on this precept? Let grafted in give him a shot first. See if he understands. If not, I'll move on. All right, whenever you're ready. I'll give him a few seconds, all right? I think I'll explain. You see, what I would like it to mean is that I don't have to keep any more rules, because then that would be great for me. You understand, right? That's my righteousness. I then could eat crab and eat shrimp because I like crab and shrimp. I then could be a LGBT person because I like that. I then could have sex with whatever I like, because then I would not have to worry about keeping those rules that I don't like. I could do what I want. I'm sorry, does he have an answer?
He does.
Please.
He said you can sin, no consequences.
There you go. And that is what we like. We like that. That is our righteousness, ours. That's what we like. Then it's like the police say one day, you know, it's like the purge, where you can just do whatever you want, no penalties, no repercussions. Oh, I'm sure you like that. Who wouldn't? But see, if you do that, however, you'd be quite ignorant of God's righteousness, because God's righteousness is all about rules. What do you think he told Adam and Eve? Thou mayest eat of every tree of the garden, but this tree thou mayest not eat of. God is, he likes rules. He's heavy on those. He likes them. He likes structure. He told Adam to come and turn this place into a garden. Come and turn this place into a garden. Come put it in order. That's what he told Adam, to come and subdue it. God likes that. God doesn't like your wild, chaotic life. Do you think he was molested? Do you think his mother was alcoholic and his father a crackhead? You like chaos because that's how you grew up. You grew up in chaos and you love it. You love getting drunk and arguing and fighting all night while you're drunk. Why? Because that's how your father was. You like being in the streets all night with strange people. Why? Because your mother was never at home. She was always in a bar all the time. And the streets raised you because your parents were out chasing drugs or penis or vagina. You love chaos. The Most High God, he doesn't like chaos. He's a good father. He likes the world to be subdued, to have it in order, for it to be structured. That's him. Don't think he likes what you like, because you'd be incorrect. Continue. Now I'll break it down for you. Let me read one more line, and then I'll break it down for you. Christ is the end of the law. Now just read this next sentence. That's all you need. Go ahead.
For righteousness.
That's it. That's it. Christ is the end of the law for righteousness. Now, could that possibly mean that Christ is the end of the law so you can rape women without any repercussions? Because there's a law against raping women. The Bible says, whosoever forceth a woman, it is as he has killed her. There's a law against that. If Christ is the end of the law, you absolutely could rape a woman. Can you rape a child? You could, if there's no more law. You absolutely could rape a child. Why couldn't you? There would be no, come on, law against it. Right? There would be no law against it. Could you just rob everyone that you see? Could you just go over to somebody, knock his teeth out, and take his money? Well, there's no more thou shalt not steal. There's no more they lie in wait for the innocent man. That's gone. Right? Would this world be a righteous place without God's law? It would not. It would not. You're living in that type of world right now. No. Christ is the end of the law for righteousness. Now this is what you need. What is the law grafted in? That's all you need now. So now we know that when it says the law, it doesn't mean God is doing away with his rules, because then you could rape a woman, you could rape a man, you could rape a child. There would be no law against it if Christ did away with the law. So when he says the law, then what does he actually mean? Please, he needs the microphone.
the commandments of God that was given by Moses.
Christ did away with the commandments of God that were given by Moses. So when it says that Christ is the end of the law, what does that mean? He's the end of the law for righteousness.
It means when somebody breaks the law, now you don't die instantly from the priest anymore. You get a chance.
You get a chance to be what?
You get a chance to be new.
Be right here in the class today. I'm asking that for a reason. Every question I ask is a trap. Every last one. You get a chance to be what? Benjamin, give him the mic. You get a chance to be
righteous.
Give him a hand. That's what it means. You get a chance to be righteous. So now, even though I was a drug dealer, I was a homosexual, I was a rapist, I was a thief, I was the kind of person that laid in wait for the innocent man. Now, if I stop, if I become righteous, I don't have to pay for my past crimes. Jesus Christ died for my sins. He did not die for my future crimes. He died for the ones in the past. Jesus Christ is the end of the law for righteousness. Meaning, if you're willing to be righteous, you don't have to pay for what you've done in the past. But if you're not willing to be righteous, if you think that Jesus Christ died so you can molest children, so you can rape women, and all you'll simply tell yourself is, no one's perfect. I made a mistake when I raped that child. I'm in the flesh. Oh, no. Well, not for long. You're about to go see the great by and by, brother. The great by and by. You'll be before your Lord soon. You can negotiate with him. Christ died for the sins you committed in the past, not the ones you're going to commit. Precept. Give me the book of Hebrews. If they trodden underfoot the Son of God. This is what you need grafted in. I'll finish reading this and then I'll wait. Let me finish here so I don't forget. Give me read after righteousness.
For righteousness to everyone that believes.
To everyone that what?
To everyone that believes.
For righteousness to everyone that believes. If you believe in Jesus Christ, you can never rape a child. You can never rape a woman. You can never steal. You can never plot on killing someone. You could never harm anyone unrighteously because you believe. And now I know I have to live righteously. That's my debt. He paid for my past crimes. Now what I owe him is the future. That's what I owe to Jesus Christ. I don't owe him the past because he paid for the past. He died for my past. But I absolutely owe him every day afterwards. Every day I have to pick up my cross and follow after him. After I realize that he died for me and for my crimes, then every day of my life after that is for him. Now read the precept I asked you for.
This is the book of Hebrews 10, verse 29. Of how much surer punishment.
One verse above it.
Verse 48. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy.
He that despised Moses' what?
Law.
He that despised Moses' what?
Law.
You see, the Bible in the New Testament says that Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to them that believe. Well, right here in the New Testament, tell them where you are.
This is the book of Hebrews 10, verse 28.
The book of Hebrews is saying that whosoever despised Moses' law died without mercy. That's what happened. If you decided to rape a child, molest a child, be a LGBT person, eat pork, eat shrimp, celebrate Christmas, celebrate the New Year's Eve, under Moses, you died without mercy. No one felt sorry for you. No one said, but he's a human. He's only flesh and blood. We all make mistakes. No one did that under Moses. You lost your life for breaking God's commandments. You lost your life. It's different under Christ, but just not in the way that you understand because of your own righteousness and your stupid, sinful mind. It is absolutely different under Christ. This next line is going to explain how. Whosoever disobeyed and despised the law of Moses died without mercy. How is it different under Jesus Christ, Ibad? Read.
Died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses.
Once you had 2 or 3 people that said he ate pork, he ate shrimp, he celebrated this holiday dedicated to some strange god. Oh, 2 or 3 people said you did that, you were going to the great by and by. You were going before the judgment seat to the upper room. You were going to the hereafter. If 2 witnesses said you did that. Keep going.
Verse 29. Of how much sore punishment.
Wait a minute. It's different under Jesus Christ. Read that again.
Of how much sore punishment.
Spell that word sorer.
SORER.
It's different under Jesus Christ of how much sorer. You know what sorer means? Worse. The law of Jesus Christ is more stringent than the law of Moses, more strict than the law of Moses, more sore, more painful than the law of Moses. Of how much a sorer, keep going.
Suppose ye should
Resorer.
Of how much sore punishment. Suppose
of how much sore blessing.
Sore punishment.
Of how much sore forgiveness.
Sore punishment.
Of how much sore understanding.
Sore punishment.
Of how much sorer punishment. Keep going. Suppose you. How much sore punishment do you think? Do you suppose? Go ahead.
Shall he be thought worthy who have trodden underfoot the Son of God?
Whosoever despised the law of Moses, you died. If 2 witnesses said you did it, you died without mercy. How much of a sore punishment shall you be worthy of if you trodden underfoot the Son of God? The law of Jesus Christ is worse than the law of Moses. It's more terrible. Your whole life you've been thinking, well, Jesus Christ died for me so I can continue to be a drug addict. I can continue to smoke weed. I know Jesus Christ died for me. That knowledge makes me continue to celebrate Christmas. The punishment that Moses gave you is nothing compared to the punishment that Jesus Christ is going to give you. Nothing. When your eyes are burning out of your holes in your head and your tongue is melting out of your mouth, or if you are getting in a car accident tonight, or if you're going to find out tonight that you have some incurable disease and then die on Judgment Day, you're going to wish you could have just gotten stoned. You're going to say, I wish I would have just gotten stoned. Because let me tell you how silly it is. Instead of getting stoned, you were born in America to the lowest people on the planet, in the place where they're hated the most. You were born in poverty in Mexico, poverty in Haiti, poverty in Jamaica, poverty. Were sexually assaulted when you were what? What's the usual age? 11, 9? I've heard as young as 6, right? 6 years old. Someone is treating you like a sexual object at 6 years old. Then you have no family, you have no father, or your mother and father are people you wish were not in your life. Or your mother beats you with extension cords, and your father breaks your ribs when he's drunk. Then you go to school, and then you get violence in school. You have to fight every day in school. You get bullied in school. You can't go to school anymore because you're afraid you're going to die if you go to school. You drop out of school. Then now you go get a job and you're trying to have a job. You can't keep a job. You meet a woman, you're in love with her. Now she puts you on child support and puts you in jail. Or, of course, she calls the police on you when you're in one of your moods, when you're drunk all the time and you fight her. And so you're dodging the police from the woman you love. And she loves you. And you're going to jail all the time over her. And then you go to do a few years in jail, and you come out, and then, of course, you have a drug habit now. Or you go into Esau's military, and when you come out, of course, you have a drug habit now. And now you live your whole life like that. And then one day you hear the trumpets roar, the chariots are in the sky, and you feel your flesh burning off of your bones. I would rather be stoned than take the punishment that we're taking. Jesus Christ is more strict than Moses, more severe than Moses. I pray you understand. All right, anything else?
This is from Shah-Farah Yahudah. Shalom Yahushua.
Shalom Yahushua.
So if I may, can you please break down 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16, both the show?
Absolutely, sister. That's a sister, I'm sorry?
Come.
Absolutely. Go ahead. 1 Timothy, you got it?
A Christian is using this to say Jesus is God.
Oh, okay. All right, let's read it.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 16. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness.
Okay.
God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory.
I'm assuming it's the part that she's referring to is that God was manifest in the flesh. Give me greater is he that is in you. All right. God was manifest in the flesh, which is, of course, to a Christian means that Jesus is God. Why is that? Why do Christians believe? Because you know the Declaration of Independence says that all men are created equal. It says that. I've always wondered why you Christians can read the Declaration of Independence. Here it's saying all men are created equal. You know that you were slaves, and you continue to be slaves for about another 100 years or something or more. And you know it wasn't talking about you, but yet you read the Bible and you don't see it the same thing is happening. It says God was manifest in the flesh. Do you think that means what you think it means on the surface? The Declaration of Independence didn't. The Declaration of Independence says all men are created equal. I'm sure they let us go that day in 1776. They didn't, because what you think it means on the surface is not what the writer is intending. The writer isn't talking about what you think it's talking about. I don't know how you can read the Declaration of Independence except that. But then you read precepts like this and think you're right. You're wrong. The same way you are wrong about the Declaration of Independence. God was manifest in the flesh. In your mind, you think that means that Jesus is God. Why? Because you were raised by people who are polytheists, people who believed in more than one God. The Roman Catholic Church. They believe in multiple gods. They believe in God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Why? Because Rome believed in Zeus, Janus, Apollo, Mercury, Cupid. Rome had hundreds of gods. You're about to worship a Roman god right now, Cupid, in February. That's the god. That's the god of Valentine's Day. You're about to worship the god of Janus, who is a Roman god, the god of new beginnings. You're going to worship him in a few days. The Romans believed in multiple gods. When the Romans became Catholics, they kept their belief in multiple gods. It's not God's righteousness, however. That's not something that God believes in. God doesn't share his glory with another. There is one God, Shema Yashala, Allahayanawa Yahawah Akkad. Hear, O Israel, our God, the Lord is one. We don't have three gods, not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible. So then when Christ said, when the Bible says that Jesus Christ was made manifest in the flesh, what else could it possibly be talking about? I'll show you. Read the precept and tell them where you are.
Oh God, this is the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 4. Ye are of God.
You are what?
Ye are of God.
Wait, you are of God? Does it say ye or Jesus Christ?
Ye are of God.
You are of God. Keep going.
Little children.
Little children. Is that little child or little children?
Little children.
Little children. This is talking to us. You are of God, little children. Meaning what? The people who Jesus Christ taught, who were from the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the children of God. You are little children because that's God denoting his care for you. You're like his babies. You are of God, little children. Keep going.
And have overcome them.
And you have overcome what?
And have overcome them.
You've overcome the people in this world who are trying to persecute you. You've overcome the military, the police, the preachers, the reverends, the politicians. You've overcome the people in this world who hate you because you stand for who? For God. Keep going.
Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world.
Read it again.
Because greater is he that is in you.
I want you to slow down every word, especially that 2-letter word.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because greater is he.
Matter of fact, yeah, he is good, but stress all the 2-letter words. Start from the top.
Okay. Because greater is he.
Is who?
Is he.
Greater is he. You need that for later, young brothers. Greater is he. Keep going.
That is in.
That is where? That is what?
That is
In. Greater is he that is in. Keep going.
you.
You. Greater is he that is in you. Go ahead.
Than he that is in the world.
Now, this is all I need from you, sister. Who is the he that is in the world? That's all I need. Who is the he that is in the world? All right, this is what you do to your Christian buddies, all right? Greater is he that is in the world. Just ask them, who is the he that is in the world? I'll give her a second and then I'll open the floor for anyone to answer. No good.
He said Christ.
That's he that is in the world. She has to listen. You won't cut your Christian friends not listening. Who is he that is in the world? A few more seconds and I gotta go. All right, Akim, online and in the room. Who is he that is in the world? Y'all know what the world is, right? It's a bad place. It's the people outside of the truth, the world. Who is the he that is in the world?
We do have one response online.
Go ahead.
Princess Nazan Anya Jewel says, anyone not in the I.S.U.P.K?
Absolutely, that's the truth. Who is in the people who are not in the I.S.U.P.K? Who is in them? They're in the world. They're not in the I.S.U.P.K. Who is in them?
We got some more responses.
Mm-hmm.
Priest and Officer 5001 said Christians.
Christians are in the world, but who is in the Christian? Who is in the people in the world?
We got the sister responding to again. She says Satan.
Satan, Shaitan. Give her a hand. Satan is in the people in the world. The Christians are full of Satan. They serve Satan. They work for Satan. Everything they do in their life is to serve Satan. Now, here's my other question. Here's the last one on this topic. Who is he that is in you, little children? Who is the he that is in you. Ask the sister. Who is the he that is in you?
She said the Most High.
The Most High God is inside of you? He's in you? He damn sure is. And he was in Jesus Christ too. Now, I'm not God, and you're not God, but God is in us. And if God is in us, what has happened? Whenever we do a righteous thing, whenever we perform a service that is glorious, that exalts God, that is God manifesting himself in us. When it says that God has been manifest in the flesh, it is not just talking about Jesus. It's talking about all of us, because all of us are the sons of God. Precept. That's Romans the 8th chapter, young brothers. When it says that he made himself manifest in the flesh, meaning what? The Spirit of God was in Jesus Christ. That's how he performed those miracles. That's how he said those words. The Spirit of God is in you, little children. That's how you were victorious over them in the world, because he that is in you is greater than he that is in them. God is in us. Satan is in them. God supersedes Satan. We could never lose in a battle with someone in the world. God is in us. That doesn't mean we are God. That doesn't mean that we are part of the Holy Trinity. It means that the Spirit of God is who motivates us to say what we say and do what we do. The Spirit of God is what motivated Jesus Christ to say what he said and do what he did. He is not God, but the Spirit of God is made manifest in him, just like it is with you, little children. You understand? You need Romans the 8th chapter to wrap the Christian up in a body bag and send him away. Read Romans, I think 8 and 14. Am I right? Ye are the sons of God. Go ahead.
This is the book of Romans 8, verse 14. For as many as are led by
many. Keep going.
As are led by the Spirit of God.
For as many as are led by the Spirit of God. Go ahead.
They are the sons of God.
They are the what?
Sons.
Spell that word.
S-O-N-S.
What's the last letter on that?
S.
S is plural, young brothers and sisters. Is there one son of God? There is not. There are many sons of God. How do I know who the sons of God are? Those that are led by the Spirit of God. If the Spirit of God is in you, then you will be victorious against them that are in the world, because God is in me and Satan is in them. That's why Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Not because he is Janus or is Cupid or is Mercury or Mars, but because he's a man led by the Spirit of God. You just need these two precepts. You'll cut every Christian, because he that is in you is greater than he that is in them. All right? Anything else? Now, to understand the entire Gentile breakdown, I would start with this. Ask the Christian, what does all men are created equal? What is that talking about? Start there when you're battling a Christian. You're going to want to start with all your precepts, all your fancy precepts that you've learned. That's good, and you will go there. But when you're in a battle with a Christian about something in the Bible that they think says all nations are of God, all people died for Jesus Christ, for in every nation, for God so loved the world. Start here. What does this mean? All men, for I declare that all men are created equal. Ask the Christian what that means. The Christian is going to say that it means all men are created equal. Then you'll say, is that referring to black people? The Christian will say no. The Christian will say, no, it is not referring to black people. Well, then why in the hell are you arguing with me about the Bible then? I know it says all people. I know it says he was manifested in the flesh. I know it says that. you don't understand what it says. Just like you thought it meant you when it said all men are created equal. You thought that meant the chains would fall off of you, didn't you? They didn't, because that wasn't what you thought it meant. Everyone understands? All right, next.
This is from.
Give me one finger, please. It was all right. Go on.
Shalom. YAHAWASHI.
I appreciate this too.
Is I could with your grace.
Say again. About 3 fingers of that. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Get a breakdown on Isaiah chapter 52, verses 13 through 15.
When do we head upstairs, Doc? Let me know, all right? Isaiah what?
Isaiah chapter 52, chapter 3, 13 through 15.
Isaiah, go ahead, I'm listening.
Is this talking about YAHUSHA, sir? Come on.
No problem. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 13. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently, he shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. Verse 14. Mm-hmm. As many were astonished at thee, his visage was so marred more than any man.
This is talking about Christ. Where is this in Isaiah?
Isaiah 52, verse 13.
Yeah, 52 and 53 is speaking about Jesus Christ. This is absolutely a future prophecy of Jesus Christ. If that was your question, that's your answer. Próximo preguntas.
This is from Yanazar Yahawah, Shalom, Adawan, Yahawah, Shah, General, may I have a breakdown of Zechariah chapter 13, verses 3 through 5.
No problem, Mark. Go ahead.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, and verse 3. Mm-hmm. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother shall begat him, shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord.
It's an excellent precept. Read 2 verses above it.
Verse 1. This is book of Zechariah 13, verse 1. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David.
Mm-hmm. A house of who?
To the house of David.
The house of David. This is a future prophecy about Jesus Christ. In that day shall there be a fountain open to the house of David. As many of you know, Jesus Christ is from the house of David. He sits on the throne that David established. His symbol is the symbol of King David, which is what we wear in the UPK. This is the seal of King David. Continue.
And to the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
And to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, which is the holy city of the Most High God, the holy city of David. Continue.
For sin and for uncleanness.
For sin and for uncleanness. Read it from the top again. I'm sorry, read it from 1 verse up again.
Okay. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David, mm-hmm. and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, for sin and for uncleanness.
Keep going.
Verse 2. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land.
Oh yeah, brother. Let me tell you something. The Most High God is prophesying a time when this fountain is open, the fountain for sin and for uncleanness. Meaning what? What does water do? I'm about to give you the answer by mistake. Well, a fountain is water. This water is for sin and uncleanness. This fountain cleanses the people who are sinners and who are unclean. This fountain is talking about the living water that Jesus Christ offers all of us to this day, that we all can be made clean in, all of us. That living water is not, of course, the water that comes out of the river around the corner from your deacon's or your bishop's house, or some bathtub that they can fill up in your church. We're talking about the living water, brother. These words that Jesus Christ gave us, that once you hear them and take them into your soul, you cannot go backwards. They change a man. Either they make you accountable for the sins you would commit after, or they cleanse you to the point that you cannot sin after you've heard them. That's the living water. That's that fountain that is for sinners and unclean people. Continue.
And they shall no more be remembered.
And now all of these crimes and all of these, evil things, these people, they'll be no more remembered after this. They're gone. Continue.
And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land.
And the Most High God said he would cause the what?
And I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land.
He would cause the prophets and the unclean spirits to cast out of the land, meaning the prophets would cast the unclean spirits out of the land. Now here we go. Now we're getting our nation together because this fountain is cleaning the sinners, cleaning the unclean people. Now our nation is coming together because of Jesus Christ. Continue.
Verse 3. And it shall come to pass that when any shall get prophesied, then his father and his mother shall beget him, shall say unto him, thou shalt not live.
Jesus Christ talked about this. When a man begins to prophesy, his mother and his father says what? Say what to him? You're going to die. You shall not live. Keep going.
For thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord.
For you're talking lies in the name of the Lord. Keep going.
And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesied.
Keep going.
Verse 4. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision.
Keep going.
When he hath prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive.
Keep to what?
To deceive.
Now that should have gave you the breakdown right there. Neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. It's saying rough garment because the prophets of old were famous for being very rough men, being hard men. Prophets of God in the past didn't dress like the IUIC dresses, with soft purple paisley, t-shirts with fringes at the bottom of them. That's not how prophets dress. Prophets were rough, and they wore rough garments because they weren't pretty boys. They were men that were hard men. At that time, prophets would wear those rough garments to lie to the people and make them think that they were prophets when really they were false prophets. And this is all happening because of Jesus Christ. Because of him, now what happens? Now the false prophets are being exposed. The people who are false prophets, they're not able to be false prophets the way they used to be. You try to be a false prophet now, your family will kill you. Because this is at a time where Jesus Christ is pouring his water out on everyone. And in the past, you could be a liar, you could be a false prophet, and everyone would love you. But the time is coming when that will not be accepted anymore in this nation. This is a prophecy about that. Everyone understands. I believe I answered the question. I believe that was what the question was. It's 8:40. How are we looking?
5 more minutes, sir, and then we let you go.
What do you think?
Khan. Next question, sir, is from Super Ashtawa.
All right.
Sorry, sir, if I could. If your rib is on her period during Passover, is she not allowed to join in on the feast?
She is not. If your rib is unclean in the Passover, she cannot be around the people. So if your wife is unclean for the Passover, she can't come into the Passover because she makes the people in the Passover unclean. You want to think of a Passover like a quarantine. A lot of you are afraid of needles, so you're not vaccinated. So you're going to get the flu and the whooping cough and RSV and every other goddamn disease. When you get it, stay the hell out of class. You get all of your diseases that you're going to get because you're afraid of going to the doctor. Don't come in here with all your nasty ass diseases. Because what's going to happen? We all gonna get it. You sit up in class, you got the damn flu, the bubonic plague. You got every evil disease in the world. Why? Because you're afraid to go to the doctor. You're not afraid to get all of us sick, though, are you? That doesn't scare you at all. But when you're sick and you go around people, you give everyone that illness. You're going to come to class while you got the goddamn RSV and the flu and the COVID-19. General Cabal tried to check your forehead to see if you got the COVID-19 virus. You hated him for that. He put that thermometer right to your dumbass forehead where all the dumb is. It was apropos that General Cabal put the thermometer to your forehead because that's where the dumb resides, in your forehead. You don't like that. The thermometer said blazing hot. The thermometer blew up. Nigga, get out of here. Don't come in here. You have COVID. You want to kill all of our grandparents? Kill all of our kill every old person in the school? You can't come in here with COVID. You have to stay away if you have COVID. If you got all those diseases that you're going to get because you don't trust doctors, then don't come around us then. You're sick, you stay your dumb ass home. Everybody understands? Well, a woman's time of uncleanness is similar. There's blood coming out of you. With that blood, you could transmit all of the diseases, just like you could transmit from the liquid that's coming out of your dumbass nose. That's why they tried to tell you to put a mask on your nose. Why? Because the same way if you sneeze, they tell you to do what? Cover your damn nose. Put it right here. Achoo, achoo. Well, the mask is up there so that just in case you don't cover your nose with your elbow or cover your nose with your hands, the mask is always on your face. So when you sneeze, the liquids from your nose don't get on everyone and kill everybody's mama and daddy and grandparents. Well, for your period, there's liquid coming out your tail. You understand? Those liquids are how you transmit illnesses. Liquids from your nose is how you kill 3 million people in America. Liquids from your tail is how you'll kill whoever didn't die from COVID-19. You're going to keep that tail away from everybody. Keep that tail at home so that no one catches your diseases that you have from all of the stuff pouring out of your tail. You brothers, there's an illness when brothers have that. I forget, what's that illness when something is just constantly pouring out a brother's penis? Y'all know. What's the one y'all had last week? Y'all had that coming out of Esau's military, huh? That rod is just like a fountain of blood. That's it. I think it's gonorrhea. I want to say it's gonorrhea. But there's a disease a man gets when it's just blood coming out your penis. Dripping all the time. Don't come in here with that, huh? Keep that at home. A woman's unclean time is a quarantine. It's a quarantine. No, you cannot come around people. You talk to your camp leader. There's ways to work it out so that people can be separate from you. There's things that brothers know how to do to keep you away from people. Just the same way if a man is unclean, he just had sex because liquid came out of his penis. He doesn't touch anyone. He stays away until the sun goes down. It's a quarantine. Just remember that. It's not superstitious. It's an actual, real medical precaution. It's practical. Everyone understands. Was there anything else? With that, pass the class over to Police Officer Mahayaman.
YAHUWAHSHI
I.S.U.K security announcements. With I.S.U.K on all of us on 25th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they're all members for 6 months. They are to be saluted over. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If you need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if your brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must be permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in Hebrew, by I.S.U.P.K, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Gives the treasury department. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever not in the life. Upcoming holy convocations, we are still in the feast of Hanukkah. You understand? It's, what it is? The end of next week, what is that? This slightly. It's this Wednesday. There's no closing for it, right, sir? There's no closing for it, all right. I'm not going to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the student, start wearing all black, blue shirt, pants, if you're in the circle with that, brothers. Israel, the brothers of courtesy salute. Israel, YAHUSHUA, Amadi, Barak, YAHWAH, YAHUSHUA, as Matanya and down, sorry for his sisters. I know the sisters on courtesy salute. Israel, YAHUSHUA, Amadi,